Welcome back, everyone, to June Studios. I am your host, Lanny June. Today, the topic of discussion is, am I in it for the right reasons? Do I really want to act, or do I want to be famous? And I think this is a question that we all battle in the beginning, but it's something that will reveal itself whether you like it or not. And this kind of ties to my last video where I discussed when a passion turns into a curse. And when it does turn into a curse, that's the true test, right? Do you really love the work? Do you really love the dedication and the solitude it takes to become the best actor you can be, right? Not just an actor, but in any arts or anything that you want to do successfully. Do you have what it takes? And, you know, I hear a lot of actors, especially when I first started acting, you hear a lot of people say, I love the craft. You know, I love acting. And I will say, you know, I'm guilty of that as well. But I meant what I said. And I think 20 years in, you realize if you don't love the work, you're just not going to continue in this industry. Because it's just too hard, right? It's just too... what's the word? Too much suffering. Especially when there's no work. You have to kind of find your own work. You have to build your own kind of repertoire, just like an athlete, right? If you don't get to do the competition or you don't get to do that race, you still have to train, and you have to love the training. You have to love the journey of the entire picture, I guess. And, you know, a lot of people think that they love acting. They love the work. And when push comes to shove and they're really tested, I will say, I think more than 90% of people, they drop off the wagon because they realize they just can't handle the pressure. They can't handle the no work. They can't handle the not knowing what to do in the in-betweens. And I think that's the true test that everyone needs to go to. And again, it ties back to the idea of when your passion turns into a curse, what do you do to keep yourself busy in terms of artistically, right? Do you go back to old scripts that you enjoyed and work on it again? Or do you pick up plays like you're actually working on a play? Do you work on monologues? Whatever it is that you enjoy to do you love the work? Do you put the work in when there's no kind of goal line that you see? And, you know, that's a true test. Actors I hear say, you know, yeah, you know, the craft of it all, the art, you know, I'm an artist and I love the craft. Maybe so in that moment. But again, when you're cornered and the work is not coming in, and on top of that, your life is not going well, your personal life isn't going well, your relationships or whatnot. For me, the work was always there to kind of fall back on, you know, whether it was like going through a bad breakup or, you know, things weren't well with my family or whatever it was. I always had the work to kind of fall back on. Was it tedious at the time? Absolutely. But I think if you truly love the work, you just fall back on it, in my opinion. And if you don't, then there's your answer, right? And I think so many actors trick themselves into believing, man, you know, I really love the work. But that work comes with a lot of solitude. It comes with a lot of quiet, and it's a lot of stillness. And it really, really tests your patience and your know-how of basically who you are. You know, acting, in my opinion, is very cathartic. It's especially when you work on stories where it kind of hits home. It can be a sense of therapy, and I don't want you guys to think of it as therapy, but you know, there are moments in the work, especially through story, where it kind of hits you and makes you realize it's a mirror to your own life, and it gives you certain perspective about who you are, maybe, or you know, maybe certain circumstances where you thought, I could have acted differently, or whatever it is. But yeah, at the end of the day, you will be tested, no question. There will be times, especially for us actors, there's going to be times where there's no auditions, especially now, right? Especially after the strikes, you know, the entire fabric of our industry is completely being flipped upside down. The worry of AI, the worry of, no productions being held in LA. There's a lot of things to kind of worry about. But for me, I've always been about the work, right? And I'll be honest with you guys, I've always had the mantra of be so good they cannot say no. But I'll be honest with you, this industry is not based on that. It's just not. Maybe it was 50 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, but now it's all about popularity. It's all about followers. It's all about who you know. And that is part of the business, and that's part of the game that we kind of have to figure out. Social media, which I hate, but I'm putting this on social media. So it's a part of life and a part of the game that you kind of have to figure out. But I think the foundation of it all needs to be, I have to love the work, right? I have to believe that I have to be so good they cannot say no. Even if that's not the truth, I have to believe that, because I really believe if you go on that trajectory, you're just going to become the best actor that you can be. And so to those who are still asking themselves the question, am I in it for the right reasons? Stick with it. You'll find out, I promise. It's going to be a fight or flight sort of scenario. And so stick with it. If you really love it, stick with it. And you'll truly find out if you really love it, because if you do, you're going to continue the work, you're going to stick with it, and something will come into fruition. So to those out there asking themselves, am I in it for the right reasons? If that keeps coming up, that might be a red flag, right? Because I think the idea should be, I want to get back to work. I want to get back to the script, or I want to get back to the plays or the playwrights. And so it's a journey, right? It's a really lonely journey at that. But when you get glimpses of success and glimpses of people that you meet that are amazing in the industry, those are the things that are worthwhile. And so from me to you, again, stick with it. If you really love it, you're going to stick with it. No question. Really love the work. Have that mantra, like, be so good they cannot say no. Even understanding that that's not how the business and the game is played. But I think for yourself, what's really important to understand is just become the best actor you can be. All right? It's a kind of a mantra to life. I think our homework in life is just to become the best person we can be. And whatever that is to you, that's our homework. So thanks for coming and joining us again. That was our talk for today. I'll see you next time.